Hey, look what the stork dragged in. It's Bret Michaels, frontman for Poison. These pretty boys from the softer side of metal spent the late 80s and early 90s scoring big on the charts, and even bigger backstage. Before Poison taught the world to talk dirty, Bret had to bust his way out of tiny Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. One thing he always knew was how to make an exit.
He was born butt first, and we always had quite a joke about that because he said his very first performance was mooning everybody in the delivery rooms.
I guess every rose has its thorn.
Little Bret was born to be a low-down, dirty rocker. He toyed with a future in football, even farming, but music was his first love.
I learned to play harmonica and guitar when I was probably about 7 or 8 years old. Ever since I've been young, I absolutely love the look, the feel, the smell. I just like being around music gear.
To Bret, things at Mechanicsburg High smelled like teen spirit gone rotten, and he was having none of it.
High school turned out for me to be a lot of trouble. Although I was having a great time and I was playing in rock bands and I was doing everything, you know, I hated going to school. I just wanted to play music. I wanted to be in a rock band, and that was it.
Bret tried out for a local band called the Spectres, featuring future Poison drummer Ricky Rocket. The audition process was rigorous.
They didn't necessarily want me because I was cool. They didn't want me because I could sing. They wanted me because I had owned my own PA system.
Even with Bret's speakers, the Spectres weren't long for this world. When they split up, Bret and Ricky formed their own group, Paris, and signed up future Poison bassist Bobby Dahl.
I knew that I always wanted to be a rock star from an early age. I was 17 or 18 when I left Florida and went back to Pennsylvania. A friend of mine told me about Ricky and Bret. I said, you know, I know these two guys. They play. They're looking for a bass player.
With Paris all dolled up, the boys were ready to make some noise. And what better place than the local Rainbow roller rink? Here's Paris holding their big debut derby back in 1983.
The first show we ever did was at a Rainbow roller skating rink in Mechanicsburg. We went in there and we built this humongous stage out of plywood, brought in my PA system, brought in backdrops. We just thought it looked great.
After a few years on the local circuit, the boys decided that Paris was ready for LA.
I said, let's just go to California. I want to go out there and I want to be the loudest, most obnoxious, whatever it takes. Let's just make it a party and let's go try.
First order of business, an edgier name. Once the band chose their Poison, there was only one thing missing.
Hit it, CC.
Enter CC DeVille, a fast-talking, skirt-chasing lead guitarist who was used to having things his own way.
From an early age, my father bought me a guitar, and I took guitar lessons for like 2 or 3 days, and then I fired the guitar teacher. I was never able to do anything right.
He did one thing right, deliver the sweet licks that drove the ladies crazy.
The second he picked up and plugged in, he just hit that, some open chord. You know, he picked it up and he went, and I went, oh, yeah.
With all the members in place, Poison was starting to take effect. It was time to call on some friends in high places. It was time to call on Lloyd Thaxton.
Let's have a nice hand for Poison! Here they are!
The band was introduced to the world, or at least basic cable subscribers in Phoenix, on Lloyd's local music show back in 1986.
Responsible for making Poison #1 in the United States. I want people to say that we did it here on the Lloyd Thaxton Show.
With Lloyd on their side and the band's lip-syncing abilities properly honed, Bret and the boys were finally rolling down the road to fame. It just goes to show, Never underestimate the power.